some of my past and current colleagues who have been describing that they have just some tension in the neck, and when they do things such as resistance training or holding things for too long, they start to flare up, and it might actually persist for a couple days. So there are a couple big things that come to mind when I hear those kind of symptoms. The first being the forward head posture that many of us find ourselves in, and that being kind of that chin protrusion, the upper back slump coming from there, and with that forward head posture. And a lot of times, if you think about it, it's almost like the musculature and the structures of the neck you can think of as a rubber band. If the rubber band is attached from the bottom, like the occiput, into the shoulder, the scapula, and we have that forward head posture, a lot of times we could be stretching those tissues, which might give us a sensation of it being tight, which then most of us end up stretching and is actually making the issue worse. So because again, the tissues might be stretching, pulling on structures and causing some pain. Okay, again, there might be some underlying issues such as some structural deviations that just haven't been addressed yet. But from a muscle and movement standpoint, a lot of times we're in a bad posture with that forward head posture, lengthens the tissue, kind of gives us that little bit of a pulling sensation, and that might give us some tension. So what you want to think about is trying to make that chin chuck, trying to get that neck in a more neutral posture. So again, from the side here, try not to allow yourself to be in this posture at any point in the day, sitting at the computer, holding something, reading anything, trying to get more back into a neutral alignment here and going from there. Okay, so first and foremost, getting that chin in position. The second big thing, especially for an active population, many of us who have found ourselves in the weight room a lot or just playing sports or just again in general active, is that we're getting into an extended posture, the lats become very dominant, and that makes our shoulder girdle and the scapula depressed and downwardly rotated. And again, just like the forward head posture that we're talking about, that's going to lengthen out the tissues there, causing some stress, causing some strain on the cervical area. So what a lot of times what I can do is if we can take some pressure off of that shoulder girdle, if we can elevate the shoulder girdle a little bit, upwardly rotate the shoulder blades a little bit, that takes tension off the tissues and a lot of times will result in less neck pain and neck tension. So from a standpoint of the anterior view here, when you look at somebody with a depressed and downwardly rotated shoulder girdle, you'll see their clavicle down and then kind of tipping down a little bit. So a lot of us, we present in this long neck, pulling, long neck presentation, which pulls again on that cervical structure. So what we want to think about, if we can, is trying to passively get into an upwardly rotated and elevated position. So that might be something as simple as kind of holding your hands up where you're sitting down, either at a desk or maybe on the couch watching TV. Try to get something that props up the arm, getting some tension away from that downward depression of that shoulder girdle and that scapula. So again, you can sit with an armrest that's a little bit higher. You can put pillows underneath the arm, kind of get you out of that. And then when you're doing things in just a standing posture or holding anything, is that when you're holding something, try not to allow it to pull you down. Okay, so I know that's really hard when we're lifting weights, but you want to think about, hey, trying to maintain that upward rotation, a little bit of elevation within that shoulder girdle. And lastly is that anterior tilt of the shoulder is going to give us some of that tension as well. So you want to think about never finding yourself in that anterior tilted posture. You want to try to push yourself back. Okay, so the two big things when it comes to neck pain to me, a lot of the times, it's not in every case, is the forward head posture and then the downwardly depressed and downwardly rotated scapula and shoulder girdle is to put a lot of tension on the structures in that neck. So trying to get the chin back into play, trying to get the shoulder blades up, upwardly rotated and tipped back just a little bit in everyday standing posture. And then you can do some things with that to reinforce it, such as your wall slide variations, trying to get up and upwardly rotated, a little bit of elevation. You can take that into some single leg, or I'm sorry, half kneeling position with the kettlebell, maybe bottoms up presses. You can do it from a landmine press with a barbell at 45 degrees, pressing up, really trying to get yourself to upwardly rotate and elevate that shoulder girdle, and that's going to try to help you maintain that posture when you're just relaxing the other day, standing, sitting, going from there. Again, you do need the prerequisite mobility in the shoulder in order to do those exercises correctly, and you also need to think about really trying to just get that upward rotation from the shoulder blade and not just pushing through with the arm. So everything we're talking about is really trying to make sure we get the shoulder blades up, upwardly rotated, and kind of tip back a little bit along with the chin tuck position. Hopefully that'll help relieve some of the stress in the neck and take away some of the pain that you've been experiencing throughout the day and when you're doing certain activities. So try it out and let us know if you need any help with that, and hope